I kept telling myself I should still be able to do this.
But you don't have to prove anything.
I was afraid they'd see me as a burden. I prayed quietly so no one would hear.
You deserve to be seen.
I hope God still noticed me.
I did not stop because the grass was tall or because the house looked neglected from the road. I stopped because I saw a woman sitting on the edge of her porch steps, holding a folded letter in both hands like it weighed more than paper ever should. She was an elderly black woman in her late 70s, with careful movements and tired eyes, wearing a simple dress that had been washed thin by years of use, and she kept smoothing it down as if trying to stay composed. The yard around her had grown uneven and wild, not from carelessness, but from time passing faster than strength. And when I greeted her, she apologized before I even asked a question. She explained that the notice had arrived weeks ago, not angry or threatening, just official and quiet, listing a deadline and a fine she could not afford without choosing between medicine and groceries. She told me she read it every night after the house went silent, sitting at the same kitchen table where she once helped her grandchildren with homework and signed birthday cards, telling herself she would figure something out by morning. She had worked most of her life cleaning offices and caring for other people's homes, and when neighbors needed help years ago, she was always the one they called. But asking for help herself felt like crossing a line she was raised never to cross. Since her husband passed, the phone rarely rang, not because people were cruel, but because life moved on quietly, and she stayed, watching seasons change from the same window. She admitted she thought about calling the city to explain, then imagined the voice on the other end rushing her off the line, and she put the phone back down. She thought about asking a neighbor, then pictured them feeling obligated, and that felt worse than the fine. So she waited, trimming what she could with old tools, moving slowly, stopping often to rest, hoping the yard would not draw attention long enough for her to catch up. When I began working, she stood nearby without saying a word, hands clasped, eyes following every pass, not relieved exactly, but cautious, like kindness had surprised her, and she did not trust surprises anymore. A car slowed on the street and she flinched, explaining softly that being noticed was what she feared most. When it was done, she did not thank me right away. Instead, she looked up at the sky and whispered that she had been praying every night. Not for rescue, but to not be forgotten, she said. Faith was the only place she could ask without feeling like a burden. If she had stayed quiet a little longer, would anyone have stopped? And do you believe God still sees us when we handle everything alone? If you do, then like, share, and comment what faith